What's up, everybody? Welcome to another year ranking video where I rank every movie that I've seen that came from each year. And I've done from 2023 to 2020. Now I am doing 2019 or 2019, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. All right, 2019. Now this one I have seen 21 movies in. So yeah, and pretty good year for film, I have to say. So yeah. All right. So ranking from 21 to 1, 21 being my least favorite, 1 being my favorite. Keep in mind, of course, personal opinions. If my favorite happens to be your least favorite, then sorry. If my least favorite happens to be your favorite, then oh well. And that could be the case for somebody because I know my least favorite of this year happens to be pretty beloved, and my favorite is a divisive movie. And there's actually a lot of people that hate my number one movie, so that could be that could happen. And if so, then I'm sorry, but this is my personal opinion. So yeah, and also if your favorite movie isn't on here, that means I haven't seen it. So yeah. All that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? With number 21. Okay, my number 21 is a movie that I reviewed long ago on this channel. Check it out if you want. It was a pretty long review because I did not like it at all. And over time, as years went by, just thinking about it, I hate this movie with a passion. And it is a movie that it might be divisive. I have heard some people say that they don't like it, but I've heard a lot that say that they love it. And this movie just didn't work for me. So my number 21 is Booksmart. That's right, Booksmart. Let's be honest, Booksmart is basically a ripoff of Superbad, which is ironic because it has Jonah Hill's sister in it, Beanie Feldstein. Okay, so that's the only thing I will talk positive about this movie is the two leads and their chemistry, which was Beanie Feldstein and Caitlin Dever. They were good. They were good, and they had great chemistry together. I did buy their friendship, so that's what it has for it. That's like the only thing it has for it. Other than that, this movie's trash. Mostly not funny, aside from a couple things that kind of made me chuckle, but mostly not funny, very cringy, and also a terrible soundtrack. Worst soundtrack to a movie I have ever heard. Except for Parliament. Parliament was on there, that's cool. But, yeah, but again, the leads were good. Beanie Feldstein was good, although I like her in Lady Bird better. And that's a better movie anyways. And Caitlin Dever, she was also very good as well. And I'm curious to see her in the season 2 of The Last of Us. She's actually going to play my favorite Last of Us character, Abby. So we'll see. Hopefully she'll pull it off. I think possibly she could. So yeah. But yeah. Terrible movie, though. I did not like Booksmart at all, and that's my number 21. Aside from, of course, the performances, like I said. Okay, number 20. Now, people are going to get mad that I have this over Booksmart, but sorry, my list. My number 21 is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Terrible Star Wars movie. It didn't piss me off as much as Rogue One did, and that's a hot take, I know, because Rogue One, there are fans of that movie, but no one likes this movie. But I will say I like this a tad bit better than Rogue One. Still not a good movie, though. Aside from the performances, they are decent throughout that sequel trilogy, but like Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley and Oscar Isaac. I mean, they're great actors anyway, so yeah. But still, just it was a bad Star Wars movie. Probably the worst one, but again, Rogue One is my least favorite. If you saw my Star Wars ranking, you'll know. But yeah, Rise of Skywalker, that's my number 20. Coming at number 19 is a movie that is also very divisive. There's a lot of fans of it, and there are a lot of people that despise it. I'm one of the ones that despise it because it's not a terrible movie, but it does shit all over what should have been a perfect trilogy. Now it's not a trilogy because of this movie, and also there's going to be a fifth one coming up soon. But my number 19 is Toy Story 4. Yeah, I mean, again, it's not, for a Pixar movie and an animated movie in general, it's okay. It's not terrible. I mean, the animation's great, but as a sequel to the Toy Story trilogy, yeah, it's bad. It's really bad, and the ending of this movie is just a middle finger to the ending of Toy Story 3, which was a perfect ending. Yeah, that's why I hate this movie, and that's why it's even my least favorite Pixar movie. If you've seen my ranking for the Pixar movies, this was at the bottom, so yeah. So yeah, that's my number 19 is Toy Story 4. Alright, I'm going to pause this real quick. I'll be right back. Alright, so those last three were the only ones I can say that I hate on this list. Now, these few others I don't hate, but I don't necessarily like either. And some of these are pretty beloved too, so just keep in mind. I just don't care for these movies, but I don't hate these movies. So yeah. So my number 18 is Martin Scorsese's The Irishman. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of this. This movie was way too long, and I hardly remember anything about this movie. Yeah, that's really all I can say about it. Like, aside from the performances, which I thought were decent, there was nothing I liked about this movie, really. But I don't hate it. It's just boring. That's all. So yeah, number 18 is The Irishman. Number 17. Now, this one, oh boy, a lot of people love this movie. I need to rewatch it. And we'll see how I feel about it on the rewatch. But, number 17 is Uncut Gems. Yeah, I know. But, I just wasn't a fan of this movie. I did not like it. Sure, Adam Sandler's good. Don't get me wrong. He was good in this movie. I'm not going to say great because he was better in Punch Drunk Love, but he was still very good. I think he's way better in Punch Drunk Love, though, and that's a better movie overall, in my opinion. But yeah, other than him, I just wasn't a fan of this movie. I wasn't into the story. I didn't care about the characters, not even Adam Sandler's character. Aside from, yeah, good performance, but I just didn't care. I just didn't like it. We'll see though. I'll probably rewatch it one of these days, but thinking back on it, I just don't remember it being that great. Like, I just don't. Every time I think about it, I'm just like, yeah, it wasn't for me. So, but, you know, maybe on rewatch I'll change my mind. Who knows? So yeah, number 17 is Uncut Gems. Alright, coming at number 16, we have a sequel to a movie that came out 10 years before it, and it was a pretty disappointing sequel, I have to say. That was Zombieland Double Tap, the sequel to 2009 Zombieland. Yeah, I remember a few things, but not a lot from this movie, but it just wasn't very good to me. It wasn't very good. It was pretty disappointing. I thought Woody Harrelson and Jesse Eisenberg was okay, but Emma Stone wasn't as good as she was in the first one, and neither was Abigail Breslin either, unfortunately. And I didn't really care about the new characters either. Now, Rosario Dawson was in this movie, but even she didn't really do much for me, unfortunately, and I love her, but I don't know. Like I said, I barely remember anything from it, but what I do remember, just wasn't a fan. So yeah, number 16 is Zombieland Double Tap. Okay, now getting to the movies I own, which I will say I'm not a fan of this movie, but I'll keep this movie until I watch it another time, a second time, and we'll see how I feel about it. If not, then I'll get rid of it. So, number 15 is Knives Out. I believe I reviewed this movie too back in the day, so check it out. I don't know. This movie just didn't do much for me. It was just I thought it was okay at best. Like I didn't. I would say I probably just thought it was meh more than I didn't like it. It was just a meh movie. Now there was one thing I did enjoy about this movie. One performance and even one character I enjoyed in this movie, and that was Ana de Armas. Maybe it's because I'm a simp for her, a quote unquote simp, but because I do have a crush on her. But no, I did actually like her character a lot in this movie, and I thought she did an amazing job in the film. And she was the only one I really gave a shit about. Everyone else, yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan. I like Toni Collette, but I don't know. She just didn't do much for me in this one. And I really can't stand Jamie Lee Curtis. So, and she's in this movie too. So, yeah. But yeah, Knives Out. Just, I don't know. I haven't even seen the sequel. What was it called? Glass Onion. I haven't seen that yet. So, maybe when I do my Rian Johnson ranking, well, I mean, when I do my Rian Johnson ranking, I will have to watch that sequel, so we'll see about that, but also I'll rewatch this, and we'll see how it goes, so yeah. But yeah, Knives Out is my number 15. And speaking of rankings, this one was for my McG ranking that I watch. So number 14 is Rim of the World. Now we're getting to the movies I thought were okay. This one I thought was okay. It wasn't great, but I didn't think it was terrible either. There were a few funny moments in this one. I thought that the girl character, I liked her, and one of the boy characters was pretty good too. The one that they kind of had, he kind of formed like a relationship with the girl at the end of the film. Spoilers, but I did think the black kid was kind of annoying at times. He was supposed to be the comic relief, and the other one, not really anything special. But it's an okay movie. It was about an alien invasion, I think, if I remember correctly, and about just these kids from a camp that trying to save the day. It's okay. I don't know if I'll ever watch this movie again, but it was okay. I only watched it because it was directed by Mick G, who's a director I work in a ranking on. So, yeah. Number 14 is Rim of the World. Coming in at number 13. Now, this movie, I think, is pretty good. But, however, there is something about this movie that made me not like it all that much. And I'll get to that. My number 13 is Honey Boy, which was written by and starring Shia LaBeouf. And I will say this, he did a fantastic job acting in this movie. He was so good. I mean, his character was a piece of shit as the dad, but he played that character very well. I will give him that. However, this was supposed to be based on his relationship with his father, but apparently it's all bullshit. Because I actually heard that apparently it was all a lie, that he actually did have a decent relationship with his father, and he some reason made a movie that kind of, based on his childhood, based on like his father was abusive to him and whatnot, and that just made me be like, yeah, okay, fuck this movie. But other than that, the movie itself is decent. I think it's not bad. I think it's actually pretty good. It just because of that, that's why it's low on the list. So, yeah. So fuck Shia LaBeouf. Fuck that movie. I'm sorry. I don't hate it, but because of that reason, it's low on the list. So yeah, Honey Boy is number 13. Coming at number 12. Okay, now this one. Some of y'all might be like, what? Why is this so high on the list? I don't know. I didn't hate this movie. I didn't even dislike this movie. I kind of enjoyed it, to be honest. And this happens to be a one of those Disney live action remakes. Okay, before you get angry, it is not The Lion King. I haven't seen that remake, so that's not on here. No, it's the other one that came out that year, and that is Dumbo, directed by Tim Burton. I didn't mind this movie. I really didn't. I actually thought it was pretty decent. Not like not great, not amazing, and definitely not one of Tim Burton's best films. But I don't think it's one of his worst. I think it's okay. Like, I honestly do. I think it's okay. I think I get why people didn't like this movie, because this one does focus more on the human characters rather than Dumbo himself. But I don't know. I didn't mind it, though. I didn't mind it, and I thought it had good performances. You know, Colin Farrell, Eva Green, Danny DeVito, Michael Keaton, I think, was in it too. And even, what's her name? Nico Parker, who I know from the Last of Us show. We're referencing The Last of Us again. But, sorry, my hair is all sweaty. It's pretty hot, and I have the fan off, but that's because it'll be too noisy. So yeah, and I'm just straightening my hair. But okay, anyways, but Dumbo, yeah, I thought this was an okay movie. Yeah, I didn't even dislike it. I actually kind of liked it. So yeah, yeah, I thought it was decent, and that's my number 12, Dumbo. Coming at number 11, now we have a sequel to a movie that it was like over 20 years after the first one. And this, I used to really like this movie a lot, but then on rewatch, whenever I watched this with Cade for the Your Cousins Are Critics episode, which he didn't like this movie really at all, or at least not that much. I think aside from a few things, but Me on the other hand, I still like this movie, but I definitely see its flaws now. So, yeah, it's like a 6 out of 10 now for me. But that's Doctor Sleep, which is the sequel to The Shining. Now, okay, let me go over the things I like about it. The performances are all fantastic. Ewan McGregor, especially, and even fucking Rebecca Ferguson, who I think played a very good and terrifying villain. And I thought the girl was good too. And you know, I think the main story is pretty good, but however, the thing that makes it not so great is especially in the third act, the constant callbacks to the original movie. And yes, you can have some callbacks, sure, and you know, for a while it was focusing more on the lead story, but then in the third act they go back to the Overlook Hotel, and that's where all the callbacks come back, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, this movie's not that great. Just mostly because of that reason. But the main story itself, I think, is pretty good. But, you know, it's like, I don't know. I don't like those kind of movies, those nostalgic, movies that it's supposed to be all nostalgic. And this is nostalgia bait. This is definitely nostalgia bait. So, yeah. That's why I don't love this movie. I used to really like it. Not so much anymore, but I still think it's okay. I think it's an okay movie. As a sequel, not really, but as a movie, it's pretty good. Anyways, yeah, that's my number 11 is Doctor Sleep. Okay, coming at number 10, now we have the Best Picture winner of the year 2019, and some people might be mad that this isn't number 1. Sorry, but at least I made it in the top 10. That's Parasite. I only seen this, at least all the way through, I've only seen this once, and I think it's good. I think it's a good movie. A little over. I don't know if I would. I don't know if I'll say overrated, but a little overhyped. And I don't love the story all that much. I think. I think it does get interesting toward the later half when it gets all serious. That stuff I actually kind of liked. But the first half where it's pretty much a comedy, I don't know. It just didn't do much for me. It just didn't really. I didn't really think it was that funny, and just I don't know. I actually like the thriller aspects a lot better. I've even heard some people say that they like the comedy half better than the thriller half, but I'm the other way around. I think the thrill the suspenseful thrilling stuff I think is a lot better. And I'll definitely rewatch it one of these days, but and maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe I will think it's a very good film, but as of right now, it's all right. I mean, it's good, but yeah, I don't know. Do I think it should have won Best Picture? No, I think probably my number two should have won, honestly, and some people might get mad at that, but yeah, I like Parasite. I like Parasite. I just don't love it like a lot of people do. You know what? My next movie, I would actually prefer if it won Best Picture over this one, but yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's Parasite number 10. Coming at number 9, we have 1917, which was also nominated for Best Picture. If it won, I actually would be okay with that. Because although I've only seen this movie once, it's another movie I need to rewatch. I remember enjoying it quite a bit. I remember thinking that it was pretty damn good. A pretty damn good war film. And I like the one-shot aspect to it, It's pretty cool. I don't know why I haven't rewatched it. I just haven't been in the mood, I guess. I guess that's why. But no, I actually remember liking this movie quite a bit. I just haven't rewatched it for some reason. It's been well over like 3 years now, because I'm pretty sure I saw this in 2020. So, yeah, I don't know. That was the last time I watched it. But yeah, I need to give another rewatch. Maybe one of these days. We'll see. Anyways, yeah, that's my number 9 is 1917. Alright, I'm going to get a drink of water real quick. Oh. Alright. So coming in at number 8. Now, okay. Some people are going to be like, wait a minute. Didn't that come out in 2020? Yes and no. This came out, technically this first came out in 2019. And like at a film festival and whatnot. But it was released in 2020, like worldwide, and was even in the Best Picture nominees of 2020. But Letterboxd says it's 2019, so therefore I say it's 2019. So my number 8 is Sound of Metal. Now, on first watch, I didn't really care for this movie all that much. I didn't. Aside from the performances, I thought was good, especially Riz Ahmed. But on rewatch, I did watch this a second time, and I liked it a lot better. I still don't love this movie, but I learned to appreciate it. It's actually pretty good. I think it's pretty good. A little bit boring at times, but it's an okay movie. It's a decent movie. It's a very decent film. Actually, hell, I think it's actually better than I like it, if that makes any sense. Like, it's actually a good movie. It's just not one that I would return to a lot. So, I don't know. It was just a little bit boring at times, but I still think it's a decent movie. Riz Ahmed is great, like I said. Even Olivia Wilde? No, not Olivia Wilde. Olivia Cook. She was good, too. But, yeah. It's a good movie. Number 8 is Sound of Metal. Coming at number 7 is another movie that I've only seen once. That is The Lighthouse from Robert Eggers. Now, not my favorite Robert Eggers movie. In fact, as of right now, my least favorite of his, because I happen to like The Witch and The Northman better. And I've seen, well, okay, I've seen The Witch like all the way through only once. And I think I've seen The Northman twice. This one I've only seen once. Like, yeah. And I remember it being very weird. But I remember it being good. I remember it being good. Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, I thought were both great, fantastic in this film. I remember it being pretty funny at times too, and just a really weird movie. The black and white cinematography, I remember looking awesome. But yeah, I don't know. I need to rewatch it. One of these days, I will. So yeah, and also I'm looking forward to Nosferatu. So yeah, that's The Lighthouse, number 7. Coming at number 6, now we have is a movie from one of my favorite TV shows, which is Breaking Bad. That's right. We have the Breaking Bad movie El Camino. Now, I remember when I first saw this movie, I thought it was good, but I was like, it could have been better, and it wasn't exactly necessary for them to make this movie. Rewatching this, I still agree. I don't think it was necessary, but it's a pretty damn good movie. It is. It's actually pretty damn good. I still think it was a little unnecessary because we didn't really need to know what happened to Jesse at the end of Breaking Bad. We didn't really need to know. It could have just been an interpretation thing. And especially of what happens at the end, we're just like, yeah, that wasn't really all that necessary. But I do think that... I do think that the main story of the movie is probably the weakest part of it. However, the flashback scenes, I think, are really good. And especially, I love the flashbacks with Todd, Jesse Plemons. I really enjoy the scenes with Todd. So, after watching Breaking Bad and this movie, rewatching Breaking Bad and then this movie, I actually like Todd a lot as a character. I know a lot of people hate him. A lot of Breaking Bad fans hate Todd. They also hate Skyler, which I think is really stupid. Todd, I get it, but I like Todd as a character because he's very interesting. You don't know exactly like what he's thinking. He's a very mysterious character, and the flashback scenes in this movie definitely shows that. And it makes me love Todd even more as a character. And the other flashbacks are really good too. They bring back, like I said, Todd, but also like Mike and Jane and even Walter White. So that's really cool. But even the main story, I will say it does shine Aaron Paul's acting. So that's even the main story is not bad. I just think it's the weakest part of the movie. But as a movie overall, I think it's pretty good. Now, we didn't need it, but I still enjoy it. I still enjoy this movie, so yeah. Yeah, that's my number 6, El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. Yeah. Alright, one more drink of water. Alright, 5 more, so top 5, let's get through it. Coming at number 5, now we have a biopic about one of my favorite female wrestlers, Paige, and that is Fighting With My Family, starring Florence Pugh as Paige. This movie is really good. I think this is a movie that every wrestling fan needs to watch. And maybe even if you're not a wrestling fan, I would still insist, and if you love Florence Pugh, then definitely watch this movie. This was actually my introduction to Florence Pugh. More on Florence Pugh later. I got another movie with her coming up that I love even more. But still, she is fantastic in this movie as Paige. really good. You even got Nick Frost as her dad in this movie, who is really funny. You also got what's her name? Lena Headey and you also got Vince Vaughn and The Rock. The Rock plays himself, and although I don't really care for The Rock as an actor, him playing as himself, I'm gonna be honest, one of his best performances. So yeah, but really good movie, really good movie. Especially for wrestling fans, but even if you're not, I still recommend it. It's a great film. Yeah, Fighting with My Family, that's my number 5. So, okay, now this is definitely where personal favorites come to play, because my number 4 is definitely a personal favorite. I understand if you don't like this movie. I get it, because I will admit it's not a great film, but I like it, and I am a huge fan of this director, so fuck it. Number 4 is Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. Yeah, big Kevin Smith fan if you don't know. If you know my channel, then you should know, but huge Kevin Smith fan, and I really like Reboot a lot, actually. I actually don't think it's that bad. I think the only thing that I will say that I kind of agree when people say they think that this is not a good movie is one of the reasons why they say that is because of, like, the meta humor, all the callbacks, and all the fourth wall breaks and whatnot. Now, I will say I enjoy some of that stuff, but some of it I do think they went a little too far with it. They did some of that in the first one in Strike Back, but I thought they did it a lot better in that movie. This one, there's a couple spots where I'm like, nah. But I will say, this movie, in my opinion, surprisingly has really good drama in it. Kevin Smith can actually do really good drama sometimes in his films. Chasing Amy is, a comedy drama, a rom-com, and the drama in that movie is actually really good. Even Jersey Girl, which a lot of people don't like, I think that movie is actually, well, not even a bad movie that much anyways, but I think the drama is really good. This one, too. This one, surprisingly, which is a dumb Jay and Silent Bob movie, surprisingly has good drama because this movie is about fatherhood. And I think the stuff with Jay and his daughter, who is played perfectly, in my opinion, by Harley Quinn Smith, who is the daughter of Kevin Smith, I think they have fantastic chemistry in this film, and the drama, it really works. I think they're both actually surprisingly really good in this movie together. It's crazy that this movie has some. I mean, it's not a drama, but what dramatic moments it has, I think it's pretty good. And the humor is hit or miss, but it still has that Kevin Smith humor, a little bit toned back, not like as like crazy hardcore raunchy humor that that we all love from the old Kevin Smith movies, but still, it's still there though, and yeah, and I think Jay and Silent Bob as characters are still good in this movie. So yeah, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, that's my number 4. Now, coming in at number 3, we got, as of right now, Quentin Tarantino's most latest film, and still waiting for that last movie of his. Hopefully, it's not going to be The Movie Critic. That sucks, because I was actually looking forward to that. But, whatever it is, I hope it's good. But, anyways, the one, now I will say, if he decides not to make any movies anymore, I will say that this one wasn't a bad one to end with, because my number 3 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think I was going to say that the top 3 are kind of divisive, but I will say that this one I think has more fans than my top 2, because there is a lot of people that love this movie. I think there is some people that don't like it, but it's still, you know, I've been hearing a lot of good things from people, especially lately, like saying that yeah, this was a really good Tarantino film, and I agree. I would probably put this in my top 5. I like it a lot. Maybe I don't know, maybe 5, 4 or 5. But yeah, very good. You know, you got Leo and Brad as Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth. Rick Dalton's actually my favorite Quentin Tarantino character. So yeah. And you know, other great performances. Margot Robbie's okay in this movie. She don't really have a whole lot to do in it, but you know, you got Margaret Qualley. She's really good in the movie. Even Dakota Johnson, or not Dakota Dakota Fanning's short appearance in the film. Even Al Pacino. Yeah, Kurt Russell, Timothy Olyphant. Yeah, just a great film. I really like this movie a lot. And yeah, great Tarantino film. That's my number 3. Now, coming in at number 2, we have the movie that I personally think should have won Best Picture. If not this, then maybe 1917. Or even Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But, now this is a movie that a lot of people hate. But there are some fans of it, and there is even a sequel coming out this year, which I'm kind of nervous about, not going to lie. But that is, my number 2 is Joker. So, aside from The Crow, Joker is my favorite comic book movie. Now, I know what you're going to say. Well, the movie has barely anything to do with the Joker, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I mean, so what? So what? Yeah, sure. If you take away the Joker, you still just get this movie about mental illness. I know. But it's a great film about mental illness. Let's be honest. And, hot take, I think it's even better than The King of Comedy. I said it. Yeah, I love Joker. I think Joaquin Phoenix deserved that Oscar. Robert De Niro's great in it too, and just it's a really good movie. It's a really good movie. I remember the very first time I saw this movie, I was blown away by it. No pun intended. If you know what the that one scene is, but Robert De Niro, but great scene too. I love that scene. You get what you fucking deserve. Yeah, okay. No spoilers, just in case you haven't seen it. But, yeah, a fantastic movie, and I don't think there should be a sequel to it. But we're getting one anyways. I am looking forward to seeing Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. I think that's perfect casting, and I love Lady Gaga anyways. But, the musical aspect kind of makes me not be like, it makes me kind of be like, We'll see how it goes. If it follows the route that La La Land does, where there's not like a whole lot of musical numbers, and like kind of more dancing and stuff, then and I remember by the trailer it kind of looked that way. So maybe if it goes that way, then maybe it'll be good. Who knows? But anyways, yeah. But Joker. Great film. I love it. And that's my number 2. And my number 1 favorite movie of 2019. One of my favorite horror films. And, man, this is just a movie. The more I watch it, the more I think about it, the more I love it. My number 1 is Midsommar. Another divisive movie. I've seen a lot of people hate this movie. I mean, I get it if it's not your thing, but if to say that this is a terrible movie, there's something wrong with you, because I think this is a masterpiece. Now, Hereditary, which I will get to in my next year ranking, the 2018 ranking, that's a very good film by Ari Aster, but this one, I just like even more because it's more fucked up and just crazy, and I just like the story better overall. And of course, my girl Florence Pugh is back again, and this movie made me fall in love with her. She is absolutely amazing in this movie. The guy who plays her boyfriend, Jack Rayner, was very good as well. And you even got Will Poulter in this movie, who is pretty good. Everyone else too, and it's just, I love it. It's a batshit movie, batshit insane film, but that's why I love it. Of course, Ari Aster does go even more batshit, a little too much batshit with his next film. That is Beau is Afraid, was even more batshit than this one. I liked Beau is Afraid, but I don't know. I kind of think he went a little too far with the craziness in that one. I'll give it another rewatch one of these days. We'll see. But still, though, I still loved Midsommar. I love Midsommar, and it's my number one favorite movie of the year 2019. So yeah. All right, there we go. There is my ranking for all movies that I've seen that came out in the year 2019. So in the comments, please give me your ranking for all the movies you saw of 2019, or just say, your favorite and least favorite from that year. So yeah. All right. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, hit the bell, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.